Hi, today we're going to draw a skull to represent all the people who died of the Black Plague or the Black Death. It's also called the bubonic plague. And you start by making what kind of looks like the top of a light bulb, a regular light bulb, not a fancy one. And then you're going to put in the eye sockets. Now the eye sockets are not exactly round. They're sort of like squared off, but they're circular, but they're sort of square too, which is interesting to me. And there we are. And then we have the side part that connects to the jaw. So you come kind of with an arc here, and then you bump out for where the jaw attaches, and you're going to do it on the other side too, so they match. I'm going to widen his head a little bit there, and don't worry about it. You're working on a black surface with a white pencil. We're thinking in reverse of how we normally do things. Again, it bumps out and then it comes in. The nose is kind of a triangle, but it has a piece that comes up through the center. And you notice that the nose does not have bone in it. It really just has cartilage. Underneath that are the teeth. Now you do want to leave room for the philtrum, which is those two little ridges that form the upper lip. And then you can just kind of make a squiggly line here for the top of the teeth. Okay, we're going to come up here and we're going to go very far in, and then we're doing it on the other side. And that gives us the part of the jaw that can be dislocated. That's what happens to people who get in a fight and they have a dislocated jaw. And unlike when we do portraits in class, we actually do the divisions in teeth. The center division is where the big front teeth are, like this, and you're going to go ahead and color those in with your white pencil. And you don't have to color them all the way in, because you want to show the black dividers between the teeth. So it'd be like this, and then they get sort of thinner as they go back. You'll put a little bit of shading here, and you'll notice that, and you all will get a skull to work from. I'm working from this skull. That it's not flat across here. It's got ridges that line up with the teeth. So that helps form the inside of your mouth. And we're not gonna make them straight white across. We're coloring in just the part that's in the front, leaving the dividers there, and see how that looks like teeth? Now then you do the bottom teeth, and they're slightly smaller. So they look like this. You're going to let the black of the paper be the inside of the eye sockets. And we're going to come through here and connect to the bottom of the teeth. So your upper teeth are connected to the top part of your skull, and your lower teeth are connected to the lower part of your skull. And then we have the line that makes the bottom part of the jaw. And don't worry about it being symmetrical. It's very rare that people's faces are symmetrical. They're usually not. I'm going to start coloring in the top of the nose, and this is where we start to have value. If value is the lightness and darkness of the color, and we're working with white and black, and we're not going to press hard except where we want it to be really light. So the skull that we did in class was very light on this side, so I'm going to make it light here. But I'm going to not press as hard here. So see the difference between this and this? See how that's like a, I would say a medium gray. And then there's ridges here, right here, so I'm not going to press as hard here. I'll start to press hard as I come up. And I'll press hard right here, because that's where it is on this particular skull. So see how we've got different values, lightness and darkness of a color value. So I want it light here, and then as I go up, I want it much more intense white for the top of the skull. And if it doesn't seem intense enough for you, we can either use chalk or even construction paper crayons, which will give us more of that light value. You can play with this for a while. The one we did in class was kind of scary. This guy isn't quite as scary. Put a little bit of value in here, just a little bit. And see how that reads his teeth, and then you can put a little wavy line at the bottom for the bottom of the teeth. And then if you want to put some dividers in, you can. Don't put in a whole lot. When you're doing an actual portrait of somebody who's alive, don't draw the divisions between the teeth. They end up looking like fangs. So we're going to do a self-portrait here in some sort of costume from the Renaissance. So when we do that, you can experiment. But please don't draw teeth. They didn't draw teeth. The only one that ever drew teeth was Frans Hals, and he just really made it a slash of white there, which was really kind of nice. He made it look like they were laughing and in motion, which is not easy to show, but he did. He was a pretty fantastic artist. So, see how and we're going to lighten this rim around here. And then we come out here on where the jaw connects. And then a little bit here. But we want it like, we want it to show the shape of the skull. So when you do your lines here, make them rounded. Don't try and make them flat, because that'll just flatten out his head. We don't want to flatten out his head. We want him to look nice, not, not deformed. Now this we can accent here, and we'll accent it here, over here, because this is round and it goes back. And then this is light here, but remember that a real nose is made of cartilage. It's soft. So, as the FBI guy said to us, if you're attacked on campus, take your fist and ram his nose up into his skull. I don't recommend you do that unless you're in real danger, though. But as you can see, he's starting to look like a real skeleton. I want this edge much darker, or lighter, I guess this thing is. I'm thinking in reverse, remember? Okay, so we have this side. We'll lightly, but we won't color it. We'll color it a little bit of pencil, but this one is more light on this side than the one we did in class. And we'll experiment more with this in class, but we can see. I was gonna do scratchboard, but boy, nobody has any, and the stuff that I saw online was terribly expensive. And so we probably won't be using that. I don't know why it got so expensive. But anyway, there it is. And we are talking about the Black Death, or the bubonic plague. And the reason they called it the Black Death was because the person turned a kind of a blue-black, and bubonic, B-O-N-I-C, plague, and it killed millions of people in Europe over several centuries. And it wasn't like our COVID that, sort of petered out. It just kept coming. And even though we want trade in our culture, which leads to peace, gets people to get along, when they were doing this in the 1300s, it just allowed the plague to move all across Europe. And I posted a video on Google Classroom that shows you how bad that was. So I'm going to put a little highlight in there, kind of make it look more alive, even though he's quite dead. Okay, that's how you make it. I have handouts of skulls. They're not going to look alike. They're not going to be perfect. Could you make a living at this? Yes. You could study at Johns Hopkins and be a medical illustrator. So this is a potential career for some of you. Okay, see you in class. Bye.